What's up guys, how's everybody doing? You might notice that the office is a little bit different today. That's because me and the Queen took a road trip to the beautiful city of Atibaia, São Paulo. We do these periodically to visit her brother, where his bride is our wonderful dentist. But we're not here to talk about my teeth. We're here to talk about some cool retro style FPS games. So first of all, I want to make a disclaimer here. I only played the first couple of levels of these games, so take my opinions accordingly. So I captured footage from these games in my laptop. It is a gaming laptop. It's an Acer Nitro 5. I did a review here in the channel a while ago. But don't be intimidated by that. These games should run on any computer, be it a desktop or a laptop, even those with integrated video cards. As long as it's not a potato, you'll be fine. The first game on the lineup is one that probably everybody already knows, Ion Fury. Published by 3D Realms, and it was released in 2018. This game was made with a modified version of the build engine, the same used for Duke 3D but modified for modern PCs. It also takes great inspiration from Duke. Ion Fury is a prequel to another game with the same protagonist called Bombshell, released in 2016. While Bombshell was sort of a Diablo with the Gunner Girl, Ion Fury sticks to the Duke 3D style, and I'm glad it did. With a badass female protagonist, you need to exterminate alien invaded robots with whatever weapons you find in your way. One cool weapon is the bowling ball grenade, with great power that you'll roll to the doom of your enemies. The only thing I don't like very much about this game is that I think levels are a bit convoluted, but maybe that's just me being bad with maps. Dusk is a horror FPS game developed by David Szymanski and published by New Blood Interactive in 2018. This is the single most terrifying experience I had this week. The developers used Unity, a modern game engine, but did a good job on making it look like it was released prior to the year 2000, much like the first Quake game. I don't know how David was able to make such a low polygon game feel so goddamn scary. The music is terrifying, sound effects are scary as hell, and although you get used to it in the first few minutes, with the change of levels and introduction of new enemies, it all comes back. You start the game with a scythe in each hand and are cornered by these three human-like things with chainsaws, and it begins in the rush while you try to survive in a small room and struggle to kill these things. You have to be fast and race around them while you hit them. But then you move out to explore other places that are scary in their own right, as you are attacked by evil priests, weird mooses that shoot things out of their mouths, scarecrows, and other scary things. If you like horror games, I definitely recommend this one. I won't be playing it again as it scared the bejesus out of me and it's not a genre I enjoy, but this is just a testament of how much this game achieves its objective of being a true horror game. Graven is one of the games of the bunch that are yet to be released. It's developed by Slipgate Ironworks and will be published by 3D Realms, supposedly in the year 2021. Today we're looking at video captures from the demo that was available for a limited time. When I began writing this script, I was prepared to say that Ion Fury is the best game of the 6, but I was wrong. Graven builds an incredible atmosphere in a style that is both retro but with a modern level design. The scenery is beautiful and deep. For some reason it kinda reminds me of late 3DFX glide games like Clive Baker's Undying. On the demo, you play a priest taken to a village by a ferryman of Hades. The village is plagued and most of its inhabitants have turned into zombies, and you get quests from notable villagers to fulfill. You only start with a staff that you can bash your enemies, but right at the beginning you find a fire spell, later you find an electricity spell, and also a wrist-mounted weapon that shoots darts. One thing that I found really cool is that you don't find weapons and spells right away, you get them spaced out from each other, and the way they did it makes you feel like the spell or weapon you just got is a special treat, and not just something you found lying around. It's very cool, and I'll definitely be playing this one once it's finally released. Nightmare Reaper is another horror game, this one released by Blazing Bit Games. It's being developed on the Unreal 4 engine and it's in the early access stage since 2019. You start the game in what appears to be an underground dungeon and do a quick tutorial on how to find and use weapons, jump and kill zombie women. From then on, every time you finish a level, you wake up in what appears to be an asylum for patients with mental issues. The game takes place in the protagonist's nightmares. As there isn't much to do in the room, you are locked in the asylum, but when you go to sleep, that's when the levels start. Interesting concept design, the scenery is made of large blocks, sort of like Minecraft, and it's a fun and fast game without worrying too much about the horror theme and focusing more on the action. A Medieval was released in 2019 and it's supposed to be a spiritual successor to a game I have featured a few times here in the channel, Heretic. Although probably just Heretic 1, the original Heretic, that was a medieval clone of Doom, and not the third-person Heretic 2 that was made with the Quake engine. A Medieval was developed by Indefatigable and published by New Blood, same publisher that took on Dusk. This game has got a Serious Sam vibe to it, sceneries are very open and most enemies require more than one shot to be killed. You start with a slow axe, but right away you find a faster sword and a staff. The sword and the staff both require mana to use, different kinds of mana. The sword shoots some sort of magical slash in a line and the staff shoots auto-guided blue balls. I enjoyed using the sword more, the axe is too slow and the staff makes me feel like I'm cheating when it follows enemies' movement path. One interesting mechanic implemented is that you can pick up these soul power-ups, and when you fuel up the meter, you get to use the superpower of the weapon you are holding. The one I enjoyed the most is the spinning axe that instantly grinds through your enemies. Pretty cool, if you are in for a fantasy old school FPS, this could be a good option. Wrath Aeon of Ruin is another fast retro FPS that's still in the early access stage. This one is developed by Killpixel Games and published by 3D Realms. This game has a more Indiana Jones vibe to it. You start in an underground dungeon with vertical tombs on the walls from which skeletons walk out. As you progress through the level, you start to encounter stranger and stranger monsters. This one shoots at you with a shotgun that is where his arm is supposed to be. And there's another one that shoots at you with a big gun mounted inside his mouth. This game has one interesting mechanic, and that is a wrist sword that you can use its momentum to power your character through obstacles and enemies. Also, the weapon progression is pretty satisfying, starting with the sword and then moving to a revolver and then a shotgun all in the first level. And the shotgun is absolutely necessary. The enemies have a pretty sure shot in this difficulty setting and you need all the weapons you can get. Anyway, another enjoyable title. So which one of these games was your favorite? I'm definitely looking forward to playing some more of Graven, and I'm definitely not playing some more of Dusk, not because it's a bad game, but just because that game is terrifying and I don't like horror games. But anyway, I hope you got some useful information out of this video or at least had some fun. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, dislike the video if you hate everything about life and games, and I'll see you next time.